felt so relieved, but then I was like, oh, I need to make sure that we are paying it forward too, because we had access to this amazing care and amazing supply. And I want to make sure other babies are in that position as well. Hi, my name is Julie and I live in St. Louis, Missouri. My daughter Ruby is 8 months old and she was a milk recipient when she was in the NICU. I'm also a milk donor as well. She was in the NICU for a week. Immediately when she entered the NICU, they started using donor breast milk. And so we used the donor milk to supplement with my milk until I was able to produce enough for her. This took about 4 days, and it was a huge relief to know that I didn't have to stress about my supply. Ruby was born during cold and flu season, and so one of the things I was very worried about was her contracting an illness or an infection while she was also in the NICU. So when they gave us the choice of formula or breast milk, we immediately thought breast milk is going to provide some immune support as well, regardless of what happens. And they weren't sure if, when she was admitted to the NICU, if she had an infection that was causing her admittance to the NICU. So the added bonus of immune support for her was a huge relief to us as we were dealing with her care decisions. Was this absolute painful journey to figure out what was going on. And the whole time I didn't have to stress about, okay, the ounces I'm producing and getting them down to the NICU. Having the donor milk available to use I was able to then focus on getting whatever was going on under control. It really took the stress off in that moment, because I was able to care for myself in that moment. And without the donor milk, and if we had gone to formula, I could have seen that play out differently, where then we had stopped and tried to just like relieve the pain and not continue on the breastfeeding journey, because there was so many layers to her care and my care at the time, especially given I was a C-section as well. So there are other pieces in play at the same time. But having access to the milk took the relief off in that moment, so then I could care for myself and then figure out my supply and then continue on the breastfeeding journey despite the tricky start. Something I think a lot about having two premature babies is how they were able to thrive after they left the hospital. Ruby, having been in the NICU and having used donor breast milk, it was a tough couple days when we weren't sure what was going on, but then she started to thrive. Her temperature was regulated, her oxygen was regulated. You could just see it in her eyes. She was alert again. She wasn't sleepy at feeds, and we were able to transition back to breastfeeding more quickly. Having the avenue to donate milk feels like something that I can do, to help put more good into the world. I also talk about it with my toddler a lot. Just talk to him about, well, there are other babies who need milk as well. So I see it as something that I can do in a small way to make the world a better place. And it's something that I'm setting an example and being a role model for my own kids of how I want them to see and treat others in the world.